OK, we are going to kickstart the show by talking about Arsenal. Disappointing week, as we know, losing to PSG in the semi-final of the Champions League. So we thought now would be the perfect time to assess their squad ahead of next season, especially after the good news for Arsenal fans. We heard this morning that Zubimendi is joining the club. Got the Fabrizio Romano, here we go this morning.
Here we go.
Exactly like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's
so,
huge news, though. That is huge news, isn't it? So we've got Alex in the hot seat, huge Arsenal fan, great knowledge. We're going to go through the entire squad and we're going to look ahead to this summer. Who do you think is going to stay? Who do you think should go?
And then, Faysal, you're going to
Chip
give me a
in.
critique on his thoughts.
Sure.
Give him
Start
some
with
digs.
keepers.
Yeah.
David Raya. Yeah, easy keep. There are Arsenal fans who are sort of going, oh, should we? And I just think that's
really.
Because there's the Joan Garcia links and there's all sorts of stuff. So people are going, oh, maybe. I also think in some ways because of Donnarumma's performance, people look at that and go like, oh, we need a bit of that. Raya is not our problem. Keep him. Absolutely no problem.
Perfect. Yeah.
Neto is going back to Bournemouth, so I suspect that's just going to be cancelled. He was cup tied. Neto. He was cup tied for the Carabao Cup.
It makes no sense.
Bizarre choice. Yeah.
Karl Hein is an international goalkeeper. I'll probably say keep just because you need a third keeper.
Yeah,
He's been out at, I think it's Valor of the Lead this season. So
Cool. And as we say, this is what you want. So your shout. So this is Alex Moneypenny.
Neto returns.
Neto returns.
You are the sporting
Any
director.
thoughts, Faysal?
My hometown.
Huh? I think the right decisions. Right decisions.
Okay.
Nuno Tavares next up. I think he's gone with an obligation.
Yeah.
So
I think it is effectively.
So that's already done, but he is absolutely ripping up Serie A. So
Great season at Lazio.
Do you know what? He's had a couple of good seasons out on loan, though.
Yeah,
Tavares. I don't think it suited the Arsenal style of play, but fair enough.
Might be one of them best for all parties, right? Yeah.
Yeah, physically, he's worth taking a gamble on because he's unbelievable, but he just wasn't quite right for us, I don't think. Saliba. Where's he going to go?
Faysal, talk to us.
Now, let's go to Faysal
You're
here because Real Madrid are linked. So do you think that's likely? Where do you sit as a Madrid fan?
I think it's likely. I think his contract ends next season.
Two
seasons. 2027.
2 years. We like to go after free transfers.
Why?
Mbappe, Alaba, Rudiger, and now, of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So I feel like we are, and we've made it very known, we want him. If you guys don't win next season, we are going to be calling him.
Yeah, being serious, I think Saliba stays for another season. We forget how young he is. He's 24.
Yeah, 24,
even as a centre-back, he could sign another 4-year deal and still go and still be in his peak. So, he's great. And I do think he loves the club. I think there was some reports yesterday that he's going to sign a new contract. But, we need to win.
Do you think he signs the contract?
I think so. I
think it is down to that. So you think it's down to whether you win the Premier League next season?
Not necessarily the Premier League or the Champions League. Look, ultimately, Arsenal have massive room to grow with our wages. This is something that I think we only have one player, Havertz, in the top 10 best paid players in the Premier League, which is insane. We have a lot of players who I think deserve bumper wages. Saliba is one of them. He could be one of the best paid players in the Premier League. He could be the best centre-back in the Premier League for a couple more years and still be in the middle of his career. So I don't think he's in a rush, but we do need to win.
Yeah, there's great ball-playing players. He's got the best passing accuracy of any Premier League player with more than 10 starts this season, which is a great stat for a centre-back.
Tierney,
let's stick to the defenders.
Tierney, I think, has agreed to go to Celtic, if I'm not wrong. So I think he's...
OK, let's get him up.
But thank you for your service, KT. Ben White. Yeah, tough season for him. Physically, 22-23, if you go look back at clips of him then, he is bombing on and he looks really, really good. He looks really lean. This season, I think he's struggled physically. If he can get back to his best, he still has a massive part to play at Arsenal. But right now, Jurriën Timber is our right back. So
OK,
let's get him up then.
But yeah, he's
still in the keep though.
Yeah, I might have to ask you to do some of these as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, pass him over if you need to.
Mikel said it the other day. Our best defender.
Yeah.
Our best defender, and I think one of the best defenders.
Do you think there's been an argument to say that he's been your best player this season? We're talking about this season. Because I think the level that he's taken, not just from a defensive perspective, but the goals he's chipping in with as well.
Absolutely.
Would that be a fair statement?
I think that's completely fair. The development of him, if you want a sort of an archetype of the best of Mikel Arteta in terms of that upwards trajectory, but Gabriel just follows that. He's been amazing, and this season he's been terrific. But shout out to Kivio as well, who's done great in his absence. Timber, in my opinion,
what a player,
the best 1v1 wide defender, and I'm quite specific.
So specific, yeah.
1v1
on a Thursday night, on a Wednesday,
on a Thursday night with the rain falling at us.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, I think he, as a lockdown 1v1 defender, he is unbelievable.
Do you agree with that statement?
I think he did well against Vinny, but Kivicha did against PSG. Did had his numbers a little bit, especially in the first leg. Let's be real.
a couple of actions where he looks a little bit stretched, but then he dealt with them over the two legs. So I think Timber is extraordinary.
It's sensational.
And I
He's
want
a
to
tap-in keep, isn't it?
I want to shout out as well. He's doing this off the back of an ACL.
Yeah, great
it's
point.
crazy.
The whole
That's a great
and
point.
with no Ben White to support him. He's been
Yeah, good
honestly
point.
this guy incredible.
You might have to stick that up, Faysal, because it's stretching a bit. So a lot in the
Kivior,
so
though.
far.
There was chat last summer that Kivior might leave the club.
Yeah, this is a tough one because are you going to find a basically fourth or probably fifth choice centre back who can deal with Mbappe?
Come on now.
Are you? No.
I mean,
How many goals does Mbappe score?
inconsistent Mbappe, but yeah.
Okay, but point being that
He's turned it on Madrid. See what he's done.
point being that
Great trophy, huh?
he stepped in and did really, really well. So I look, if there's a great offer for Kivior, then maybe you think about it. But in terms of what I want him to stay. I think he'll go, but this is my.
You think he'll go?
Yeah, I think he'll go. I think Serie A clubs will.
It's your list, though. So
Yeah. So
Yeah,
for
he's
me,
gonna
stay?
you don't throw away someone who is this talented and can certainly bench for me. So
Okay.
Okay.
I think he's top. Thanks for the memories, but it is time to go. Zinchenko.
Yeah, 4 Premier League starts this season.
He's just the Premier League for me, as a trend, is just getting more and more physical. You see the running data, the players like Morgan Rogers who are thriving. And Zinchenko is brilliant for you, but in such specific game states that not that it's a waste, but I think basically Arteta lost trust in him at some point last season. I just think it's time for him to move on. And
He's still only 28, mate.
Yeah.
That's so mad. He's still
Yeah.
like
Where do you think
28.
he'd go? Because I've seen other Arsenal
He's
fans
linked to Atletico.
say with that.
Atletico. I think his
he'd go?
style suits La Liga quite
Yeah.
well. Ball playing and Atleti, they need a left back as well. Galan is getting a bit old. I think he'll be good for La Liga, but I do agree. I don't think he's worked out for Arsenal.
Give him more touches, give him more influence. He could be absolutely brilliant for a team, but for a team like Arsenal who are built on our out possession work, it's
Different, yeah.
Let's get him up.
not for me.
Next up.
Oh man, this is so sad. Tomiyasu is such a good defender. He's an incredible defender, but he just can't stay fit. I will keep him, but I completely understand people will put him in go. I'm going to keep him because I want to give him a year to prove his fitness. He's had setback after setback. I think he's had personal issues away from the pitch, and I wish him well. But in terms of he can play in every position across the back four. He's been brilliant for us at times. Basically, I want him to succeed so badly.
But you wouldn't be surprised if he left this summer.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay, so let's put him up. And we'll go to a player that has also had injury problems this season. Ricardo Calafiori.
Yeah, Calafiori. Again, a big shame that he's not maybe shown his best side at Arsenal this season. I think his best position is centre-back. So how that plays out, I'm not quite sure, because I think the influence he shows stepping forward, like on the ball, and then maybe his deficiencies have maybe shown a little bit more out wide, judging distances when he's defending and stuff. But 5.5 months out, I can't ask him to leave because of one season.
Yeah,
injury.
absolutely.
So
He's just a nailed-on stay, isn't he?
he's staying for me.
Back onto your side. And then a player, I mean, we don't really need to consider here either, do we? Mars Lewis Skelly, up he goes.
Stick him down.
What a
player.
talent he is, Faysal.
Absolutely. I can see him. I know I say a lot of times, he's got Madrid ability about him. Saliba, I feel like, but I think there's something about Lewis Skelly that screams Real Madrid. Screams.
The life of a Madrid fan, by the way. They just
Scream.
hand-pick whoever they want.
Listen, I was right about
Don't
Trent.
they?
I'll have him.
Yeah, I fancy him, yeah. Oh, what a bad season. We haven't won the Champions League this season. Anyway,
Honestly.
Next up.
Yeah, insane.
back to Arsenal.
Thomas Partey.
Look, Partey is a brilliant footballer, but I can't ignore Atalanta, the penalty, not closing down Neto, back post against Villa. There's individual against PSG, probably at fault for 2 goals. It's just time for me to move on from Partey as his contract's expiring. And when, as we're signing Zubimendi, I think we take a massive leap forward in terms of our tempo control. Partey is just ball forward, ball forward, ball forward, ball forward. Zubimendi can put his foot on it a bit more, deal with it in the park. Partey's great, but it's just sometimes players it's their time. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, let's put him down. We'll go to the next one.
Oh,
Come on, this is a keep. Let's be real.
it's
this
a keep.
has to be a keep.
It's absolutely a keep.
What was the hoof about?
It's absolutely a keep. Look, a lot of Arsenal fans are frustrated with his performance this season, and that's completely fair. I think, going back to my point earlier about physicality, dealing with contact, especially if I'm giving you, in the middle of my pitch, loads of touches, and you're having to drop out, and you're having to sort of, do your best work away from there. I need more physicality. I need you to hold up the ball centrally, and Odegaard can't really do that. Look, there's rumours that he's injured, etc. Absolutely, But there's a lot of people. He needs to stay and he's in the team. But next season, I need to see a big.
It's interesting because I've seen Arsenal fans, they've been quite vocal about Ødegaard. Obviously, 2 goals, 7 assists in 27, which obviously by his own great standards is probably lower than people expected. But I feel like there's circumstances that we need to factor in with the injury. And also, he's such a quality player, Faysal. Someone you know well, obviously,
Absolutely.
former Madrid player.
You know, his
Surely he is key to Arsenal.
I feel like
next
he's been massive last season, but this season when you expected him to deliver, especially when Saka went out, he wasn't there. I do agree with you. I feel like next season is a massive make or break. Like, if he doesn't deliver next season, I can see Arteta maybe pushing him.
Yeah,
out.
he's crucial to our out of possession stuff. So I don't want to take that away from him. But he's a player who thrives with great players around him, like Bukayo Saka. He's not necessarily someone who can create in isolation. He is brilliant. I don't want him out of my team, but I need to see more.
I think
Yeah,
Theo
let's get him
Walcott
out.
made a very good point. I think he said he's too comfortable. He doesn't have someone to compete with, and I think it's closer to you.
I think he's a quality player. I know what you're saying. It's not been this season.
Jorginho, we can blow through this one kind of because he's
I think so.
already
he's
out the door.
He's gone to Flamengo.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Here he is, Mr. Number 9.
Yeah.
Mikel Merino. Yeah, look, I wasn't sure early on in terms of his early performances. Deeper on the pitch, I think he's brilliant. So there's some numbers that go around about his duels, and he's like the best dueler in Europe. It's the second ball that I don't always feel like he wins it, and then he can't quite orient himself in the way Declan Rice can. He is brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, and you saw as a number 9 his intelligence to read the game, just drop back, and his ball striking as well is top. So. Yeah, again, probably isn't going to start every game, but for a squad to win.
I think that's the thing about the squad as well. The versatility is going to be key, and you've identified a lot of players that can play in various positions. Marino's clearly one, and I think he's going to be a key player. For
Another tap-in?
He is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And surely this man's a tap-in,
I'm not sure we need to discuss
Rice.
that too far. Declan Rice.
Obvious keep.
Yeah.
Sambia again, I think is either on a loan with obligation or will go. So I think that's a.
Yeah.
He's at Seville, I believe, isn't he?
Yeah. But I think that's. I don't.
Seville he is,
Don't see him coming back.
I
now.
can't see him coming back. I want this man to be given a lot more chances next season. I was really, I'm going to say upset at an 18-year-old not coming on his PSG. That's unfair. But I was really hoping one area would come on and play a big part. In terms of play, Arsenal are crying out for players who, Mikel's quoting 0.07 XG for the chances, whatever. This is a guy who creates those sorts of moments for you. He already has a trademark finish. He's brilliant. He's really brilliant. He's in that Mighty
Do you think
Moore
he should have
category.
played more when you had the injury issues? I felt like that during that injury hit period when Saka was out, I wanted to see more Wanyeri. Maybe it's the excitement in me because he was so good when he got his chances, but felt like he didn't get enough minutes in that moment.
Yeah, and Mikel's played him out wide, and he's not that guy. He wants to collapse inside. Saka's so good at holding that width. If you give Wanyeri the central areas, he's ready.
Would he play as a 10 over Ødegaard?
As a 10. I don't know, not over Ødegaard, but
Did he play with him?
I don't think Mikel would ever play to Ødegaard and Wanyeri. He would never play like that. I don't think because he
Love to
wants
see it,
his
though.
left eight to be a double pivot. But yeah, Wanyeri's absolutely ready.
Next one, obvious tap-in. Saka.
It's
Another player though that's only got what?
Live? Oh.
He's only got what? 2 years left on his contract, hasn't he? As things stand.
supposedly we are negotiating. I think there's some rumours. I think he will stay
hope so.
again. He's so young still. But yeah, I think even I didn't. I rate Bukayo Saka unbelievably. Even I didn't see the numbers before his injury that he was getting to this season. He was
Incredible.
extraordinary.
Gabby Jesus.
Yeah, another one. Jesus is brilliant across, I would say, all three forward positions. But with his ACL, it's like, do you remember Hector Bellerin when he lost his pace? Sometimes a player, when you lose, it's his burst, it's his ability to jump in and out of spaces. And when you lose that, or you lose the confidence to do that, your whole game kind of falls away a little bit. And
He did have a moment though this season where it felt like he hit a run of form, or could
Against
fill that
Palace.
void that was left when Havertz,
before the injury.
and then it was injured. It's such a shame for him timing wise.
Yeah.
But this summer with an injury, does he? I think it's a hard sale, or like.
it's a hard sale for sure. You can't. I don't think you can sell him injured. But I also would keep him for another year. You can do a lot worse with.
Definitely.
Gabby Jesus is your fifth or sixth attacker. You can do a lot worse than Gabby Jesus. The only issue with Jesus, he's our second highest paid player.
Oh,
That's
really?
the only. That's the only tricky thing with Jesus. But
But he's in keep for now?
I would keep
Okay.
him.
Keep him, okay?
Gabby Martinelli.
Sorry. We need major attacking signings.
Oh, wow.
We need major attacking signings. I would. This is like my catchphrase. I would love to be wrong. The one thing that I don't want to do anymore as an Arsenal fan is squint to see how good you are and be going, well, if I gave you if I gave you a full back, or if I gave you more creativity, if I gave you whatever. Gabriel Martinelli should thrive at the top level, but Arsenal need to win today, now, today. Do you know what I mean? And I think he just needs another couple of years.
I want to introduce the next magnet at the same time, because is it a similar conversation about Trossard, though?
Again, it's about squad depth. I think Trossard you keep because there's so much variety to his game. But basically, Arsenal...
So you'd keep Trossard and sell Martinelli?
Yep. Because I think with Martinelli, you need a big sale. Basically, you can't, where are we going to get the money for Isak for 150 million pounds? We're obviously going to sign. But, where are we going to get the money for...
But how much would you realistically think Martinelli would go for?
It should be 60, 70 million pounds. And by the way, if he stays and bangs, I will be buzzing.
Let's have a look at the comparison. Martinelli, 9 goals and 5 assists in all comps this season. Trossard, 10 goals, 7 assists this season. But you would say that you'd look to sell Martinelli?
I think a lot of Arsenal fans have come to a point where they can see the talent. They can see he's a brilliant player. He has been absolutely excellent for us. But it's the Coutinho sale. We won't get that kind of money, but someone has to go for a project to go to the next level.
I think there'll be a lot of interested parties if Gabriel Martinelli is on the market.
Who else?
I doubt for 70 million, though. I don't think he would go for 70 million.
I think he would. I honestly think. And
what do you think, Faysal? What number?
I think he wouldn't. There's no way he goes above 50. I think he's looking at 35, 40.
Whoa, that's low, man.
Above
That's really low.
50 for Martinelli.
But also,
He's still only 23 years old.
For a team who plays more transitionally as well, he'd be excellent. He doesn't quite suit our system either. So for me, if I have to sell someone,
Well, it's your list.
It's your list.
It is your list. So
I
stick
love
it on.
It's entertaining. They're
We'll
both you, I reckon.
Get to the forward players. Arsenal fans, let us know what you think of those two
Who
selections.
have we got
Interesting.
next? An obvious keep.
yeah, obvious keep. Massively missed him. A lot of Arsenal's, we've been conceding a lot from set pieces, and it's because we miss him at the near post. Honestly, he's so important all around the pitch.
Do you feel like, because he's a player that a lot of people have an opinion on when he's playing, when he's not playing, but do you feel like we've really seen what you miss when he's not playing now? Like, you've really seen how important he is for Arsenal these last few months when he's not been there?
Yeah, absolutely. The running he gets through for a player with, if you look at the back end of 23-24, his output, like who can do that.
Okay, stick him up. Next
Right,
up
so
is Aloni. So I presume Raheem Sterling, you're going to say returns. It didn't quite work out, did it? Is that move
Look,
from Chelsea, really?
it's the PSG game tells you everything. We're desperate for a goal. He's not coming on, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Okay, last few magnets. Let's have a reminder of the ones that you've got remaining.
We've got Fabio Vieira.
Does he return or does he stay in Portugal?
Arsenal need more creativity. For me, Fabio Vieira stays, but that might be like a late window sale. It might be a see him in pre-season, see how he gets on. I don't think I could be wrong in this, but there's some stat about he's never completed 2 90s in a row in the Premier League or something. It's something like that in terms of consistency. I do think in terms of a final ball, the underlying numbers show he's right up there with the best passers in the league. It's just his other parts of his game. I want to see him give him a bit more time, but equally it may be a late sale. So I'll keep him, but...
Okay, it's an interesting one.
Keep him or
Keep him, yeah. Sorry, mate.
Wow.
Reece Nelson, brilliant, great player, great dribbler. And by the way, this season, who would I have preferred, Sterling or Reece Nelson? Reece Nelson, probably. But I think it's time for him to go, personally.
Okay.
And
Finally, last one.
Marquinhos, who I had to check with the producer, still played for us.
Yeah, he does. I think he's on loan still.
No.
I'm going to
Okay,
say,
so
let's stick him up. There's quite a lot of outs there,
Yeah.
Faysal. What do you make of the volume?
I feel like the question is, you've put a lot of outs, which most of them I agree with. The question is, do you think Arsenal would replace the depth of most of these players, especially the likes of the midfield, the defence, Martinelli leaving? So you've got basically Reece Nelson, Martinelli, Raheem Sterling, all 3 wingers, attackers. Do you think you can replace them in terms of numbers?
I think so. Like just numbers in the squad.
Yeah.
We've got Saka, Havertz, Jesus, Trossard, and then I think we'll sign 2 forwards. So I think that basically gives us a group of 6, and for me that's got also Mikel Merino at number 9.
Ooh, so there we have it. There is Alex's stay or go for the Arsenal squad this coming summer. Let us know what you think.